The trick is to make people believe things that are not true. Napoleon Bonaparte, they tell you that liars can't look you in the eye. That's a comforting lie designed to keep you vulnerable. The truth is, the best deceivers weaponize eye contact. They hold your gaze a beat too long, projecting sincerity while crafting their falsehoods. We're not interested in fairy tales. We dissect reality. We show you how the game is really played and how to detect the subtle tells that separate truth from masterful manipulation. Most people stumble through social interactions, blindly accepting what they're told. They're sheep in a world of wolves, easily led astray by carefully constructed narratives. We offer you the tools to become a predator, to recognize the patterns of deception, and to control the frame of any interaction. Forget trusting your gut. Trust the science of observation, the art of deduction. We'll teach you to see the hidden agendas, the unspoken power plays, and the subtle manipulations that drive human behavior. It's time to unmask the puppeteers and take control of your own social destiny. The world is a stage, and everyone is performing. But some actors are far more skilled than others. We'll give you the director's chair. Stop being a pawn in someone else's game. Start playing to win. The first step is recognizing that everything you've been told about deception is likely wrong. Liars don't fidget uncontrollably. They often remain unnervingly still, controlling their physical presence to project an image of calm confidence. They don't stammer. They rehearse their lies, crafting narratives that sound plausible and consistent. The key is to look beyond the obvious, to analyze the microexpressions, the subtle shifts in tone, the inconsistencies in their story. The truth is always there, hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered, and we're here to give you the tools to dig it up. We'll explore the psychological principles that drive deception, the techniques that manipulators use to control their targets, and the strategies you can employ to defend yourself. This isn't about becoming paranoid or cynical. It's about developing a healthy skepticism, a critical eye, and the ability to discern truth from fiction. It's about empowering yourself to navigate the complex social landscape with confidence and control. Learn to recognize the tells. Master the art of interrogation. Become the ultimate truth seeker. Forget the myths. Embrace reality. This is where the game begins. The psychology of deceit is a labyrinthine realm where the conscious and unconscious minds engage in a constant struggle. It's a battlefield where the truth is the ultimate casualty, and deception is the weapon of choice. Understanding this inner conflict is paramount to detecting lies, because it reveals the cracks in the facade that even the most skilled deceivers can't completely conceal. At the heart of deception lies cognitive dissonance, the psychological discomfort experienced when holding conflicting beliefs or values. A liar, by definition, is living a contradiction. They know the truth, but they are actively presenting a falsehood. This dissonance creates a psychological tension that manifests in subtle, often unconscious ways. It's this tension that leaks through in microexpressions, changes in vocal tone, and inconsistencies in their narrative. One of the most powerful motivators behind deception is the desire to maintain a positive self-image. People generally want to see themselves as good, honest, and moral individuals. Lying, however, directly contradicts this self-perception. To reconcile this conflict, deceivers often employ rationalizations and justifications. They might minimize the significance of their lie, claiming it was a white lie or that it was done to protect someone's feelings. They might shift the blame onto others, arguing that they were forced to lie due to circumstances beyond their control. They might even convince themselves that their lie is actually the truth, a phenomenon known as self-deception. This process of rationalization and justification is crucial to understanding how deceivers maintain their composure. It's not simply about memorizing a script. It's about constructing an entire internal narrative that supports the lie. The more convincing the internal narrative, the more believable the external performance. But even the most elaborate rationalizations can't completely eliminate the underlying cognitive dissonance. The psychological tension remains, and it often manifests in subtle behavioral cues. Another key aspect of the psychology of deceit is the concept of emotional regulation. Deception requires the suppression of genuine emotions and the projection of false ones. This is a cognitively demanding process that can be taxing on the brain. Deceivers often exhibit signs of cognitive overload, such as increased blinking, longer pauses, and a reduction in overall movement. They may also experience heightened anxiety and stress, which can manifest in subtle physiological changes, such as increased heart rate and perspiration. The ability to effectively regulate emotions is crucial to successful deception. Skilled liars are adept at controlling their facial expressions, vocal tone, and body language to project an image of calmness and sincerity. They can mask their true feelings and convincingly portray emotions that they don't actually feel. However, even the most skilled deceivers are not perfect. Emotional leakage can still occur, revealing their true emotions in fleeting microexpressions or subtle changes in vocal tone. These microexpressions, which last only a fraction of a second, can be incredibly revealing. They are often unconscious and involuntary, making them difficult to control. Recognizing these microexpressions requires careful observation and training. It's about paying attention to the subtle nuances of facial expressions, vocal tone, and body language. It's about learning to read the subtle cues that reveal the underlying emotions that the deceiver is trying to conceal. Deception is also influenced by the power dynamics in the social interaction. People are more likely to lie to those they perceive as having power over them, such as bosses, authority figures, or romantic partners. This is because lying can be seen as a way to protect oneself from potential negative consequences. Conversely, people are less likely to lie to those they perceive as being vulnerable or in need of their help. This is because lying can be seen as a violation of trust and a betrayal of responsibility. Understanding the power dynamics in a social interaction can provide valuable insights into the likelihood of deception. It can also help to identify potential motivations for lying. Another factor that influences deception is the perceived risk of being caught. People are more likely to lie if they believe they can get away with it. This is why deception is more common in situations where there is a low risk of detection or where the potential rewards outweigh the potential consequences. Conversely, people are less likely to lie if they believe they will be caught. This is why deception is less common in situations where there is a high risk of detection or where the potential consequences are severe. The perceived risk of being caught is also influenced by the deceiver's personality and past experiences. People who are more impulsive, risk-taking, or who have a history of successful deception are more likely to lie, even in situations where the risk of being caught is high. Understanding the deceiver's personality and past experiences can provide valuable insights into their likelihood of engaging in deception. Ultimately, decoding human deceit requires a holistic approach that considers the psychological, emotional, and social factors that influence deception. It's about understanding the inner workings of the deceiver's mind, recognizing the subtle cues that reveal their true emotions, and analyzing the power dynamics in the social interaction. It's about developing a critical eye, a healthy skepticism, and the ability to discern truth from fiction. Only then can you truly unmask the puppeteers and take control of your own social destiny. Let's dissect a scenario, a high-stakes game of deceit playing out in the corporate arena. Imagine a sales executive, let's call him Mark, vying for a promotion against a colleague, Sarah. The promotion hinges on securing a major client, and both Mark and Sarah are pulling out all the stops. Mark, however, decides to play dirty. He begins subtly undermining Sarah, spreading rumors about her competence to key decision-makers within the company. He plants seeds of doubt, questioning her ability to handle the pressure of such a significant client. He frames his concerns as being for the good of the company, cloaking his malicious intent in a veneer of professional concern. He carefully crafts his narratives, ensuring they're believable and difficult to trace back to him. Mark understands the power of indirect influence, the art of subtly manipulating perceptions without leaving a direct trail. He avoids outright lies, instead relying on carefully worded insinuations and suggestive remarks. He exploits existing biases and insecurities within the company culture, amplifying existing concerns about Sarah's leadership style or her past performance. He knows that perception is reality, and he's determined to shape that perception to his advantage. He monitors Sarah's interactions with the client, looking for opportunities to subtly sabotage her efforts. If she makes a presentation, he'll later circulate feedback highlighting minor flaws or areas of weakness. If she builds a rapport with a key decision-maker, he'll find a way to subtly discredit her in their eyes. He uses his social capital within the company to his advantage, leveraging his relationships with influential figures to amplify his message. He's a master manipulator, weaving a web of deceit that slowly but surely undermines Sarah's chances of success. Sarah, initially unaware of Mark's machinations, begins to notice a shift in the way people perceive her. Her ideas are met with skepticism, her decisions are questioned, and her relationships with colleagues become strained. She feels a growing sense of unease, a feeling that something is not right. She starts to suspect that someone is working against her, but she can't quite put her finger on who or why. She tries to address the concerns directly, but she finds herself constantly defending her actions and her competence. She becomes increasingly isolated and stressed, and her performance begins to suffer. Mark, seeing his plan unfold, intensifies his efforts. He uses social gatherings and informal conversations to further erode Sarah's reputation. He knows that gossip and rumors can be incredibly damaging, and he leverages them to his advantage. He carefully targets individuals who are close to Sarah, knowing that their doubts and concerns will eventually reach her. He creates an environment of paranoia and mistrust, making it difficult for Sarah to build alliances or find support. He's a puppeteer, pulling the strings from behind the scenes, watching as his carefully crafted deception takes its toll. As the deadline for securing the client approaches, the pressure mounts. Sarah, already weakened by Mark's campaign of sabotage, struggles to maintain her composure. She makes mistakes, her confidence falters, and her ability to lead is compromised. The client, sensing the internal turmoil within the company, begins to have doubts about their ability to deliver. Mark, sensing victory, makes his final move. He presents himself as the steady hand, the reliable leader who can steer the ship through the storm. He positions himself as the only logical choice to secure the client and ensure the company's success. He subtly reminds the decision-makers of Sarah's perceived weaknesses, highlighting his own strengths and experience. He seals the deal, securing the client and the promotion, all built on a foundation of deceit and manipulation. This scenario illustrates the ruthless nature of social dynamics in the corporate world. It highlights the lengths to which some people will go to achieve their goals, even if it means sacrificing the integrity and well-being of others. It's a reminder that trust is a fragile commodity, easily broken by the machinations of a skilled deceiver. This type of manipulation thrives in environments where competition is fierce and the stakes are high. The key to defending against such tactics is to develop a keen awareness of the subtle cues and patterns of behavior that indicate deception. It's about recognizing the psychological vulnerabilities that manipulators exploit and building resilience against their influence. It's about cultivating a strong sense of self-awareness and maintaining a healthy skepticism about the motivations of others. It requires carefully observing body language, analyzing verbal communication, and paying attention to inconsistencies between words and actions. It also involves understanding the power dynamics at play and identifying the individuals who hold influence within the organization. By understanding the tactics of deception and developing the skills to detect them, you can protect yourself from becoming a victim of manipulation and navigate the treacherous waters of social dynamics with greater confidence and control. The critical error most people make when facing deception is underestimating its prevalence and sophistication. They operate under the assumption that most people are inherently honest, a naive belief that blinds them to the subtle warning signs of manipulation. This trust, while admirable in principle, becomes a fatal flaw in the arena of social combat. It's like entering a boxing ring with your guard down, leaving yourself vulnerable to a knockout blow. Deceivers thrive in this environment of misplaced trust, exploiting the inherent human tendency to believe what we are told, especially by those we perceive as authority figures or friends. This inherent bias towards trust is a deeply ingrained evolutionary trait that has historically facilitated social cohesion and cooperation. However, in a world where deception is a viable strategy for personal gain, this bias becomes a significant liability. The truly skilled deceiver understands this inherent vulnerability and uses it to their advantage, carefully crafting a narrative that aligns with your existing beliefs and expectations, lulling you into a false sense of security before striking. This is why the first line of defense against deception is a healthy dose of skepticism, a willingness to question assumptions and challenge narratives, even those presented by individuals you trust. It's not about becoming cynical or distrustful of everyone you encounter, but rather about cultivating a critical mindset that allows you to evaluate information objectively and identify potential inconsistencies or red flags. Another common pitfall is focusing solely on the overt content of communication while neglecting the subtle nuances of nonverbal behavior. People tend to listen to what is being said, but they fail to observe how it is being said. Deception often betrays itself in the microexpressions that flicker across the face, the subtle shifts in body posture, the hesitations in speech, and the inconsistencies between verbal and nonverbal cues. These subtle signals, often occurring unconsciously, can provide valuable insights into the true intentions of the speaker. A skilled deceiver may be able to control their words, but they often struggle to control their body language, revealing their true emotions and intentions through these involuntary signals. Learning to recognize and interpret these nonverbal cues is a critical skill in detecting deception. It requires careful observation, a keen awareness of human psychology, and the ability to distinguish between genuine expressions and feigned emotions. This is not about becoming a mind reader, but rather about developing a heightened sensitivity to the subtle cues that can betray deception. By paying attention to both the verbal and nonverbal aspects of communication, you can gain a more complete and accurate understanding of the speaker's true intentions. Furthermore, many people fall prey to the halo effect, a cognitive bias that causes them to form a positive overall impression of someone based on a single positive trait. This can lead them to overlook potential red flags or inconsistencies in the person's behavior. For example, if someone is physically attractive or charismatic, people may be more likely to trust them, even if there are reasons to be suspicious. The halo effect can be a powerful tool for deceivers, allowing them to manipulate others by projecting an image of competence, trustworthiness, or likability. This is why it is important to be aware of this bias and to avoid making snap judgments about people based on superficial characteristics. Instead, focus on evaluating their behavior and character over time, paying attention to their actions and patterns of behavior. Look for evidence of integrity, honesty, and consistency, and be wary of individuals who seem too good to be true or who are overly concerned with projecting a positive image. Remember that appearances can be deceiving, and that true character is revealed through actions, not words. Failing to recognize and address your own emotional vulnerabilities is another critical mistake. Deceivers are adept at identifying and exploiting the emotional weaknesses of their targets, using tactics such as flattery, guilt-tripping, or intimidation to manipulate their behavior. If you are aware of your own emotional triggers and vulnerabilities, you can be better prepared to defend against these tactics. For example, if you are easily flattered, be wary of individuals who shower you with excessive praise. If you are prone to guilt, be on the lookout for people who try to manipulate you by making you feel responsible for their problems. And if you are easily intimidated, work on developing your assertiveness skills and learning how to stand up for yourself in the face of pressure. By understanding your own emotional landscape, you can become more resilient to manipulation and protect yourself from being exploited. Another common error lies in a lack of preparation. Many people enter into negotiations or important conversations without adequately researching the other party or considering their potential motivations. This leaves them vulnerable to being blindsided by unexpected tactics or arguments. Before engaging in any significant interaction, take the time to gather as much information as possible about the other person or group. Understand their background, their goals, their values, and their potential weaknesses. Anticipate their arguments and prepare counterarguments in advance. By being well prepared, you can increase your confidence, reduce your vulnerability to manipulation, and improve your chances of achieving a successful outcome. This preparation is not just about gathering facts, but also about mentally rehearsing the interaction, visualizing potential scenarios, and developing a clear strategy for achieving your desired objectives. Finally, many people are simply too passive in their interactions, failing to assert their own needs and boundaries. They may be afraid of conflict, or they may simply be unaware of their own rights and entitlements. This passivity makes them easy targets for manipulators, who can exploit their willingness to accommodate others at their own expense. It is essential to learn how to assert yourself effectively in social interactions. This means being able to express your needs and opinions clearly and confidently, without being aggressive or disrespectful. It also means being able to set boundaries and enforce them consistently, refusing to allow others to take advantage of you. Assertiveness is not about being selfish or demanding, but rather about advocating for your own well-being and ensuring that your rights are respected. By developing your assertiveness skills, you can protect yourself from manipulation and create healthier, more balanced relationships. The ability to say no is a powerful tool in preventing exploitation and maintaining control over your own life. This involves resisting the urge to please others at your own expense and prioritizing your own needs and values. Understanding human deceit requires a Machiavellian approach, a strategic and calculated understanding of human behavior. This means recognizing that individuals often act in their own self-interest, even if it means deceiving or manipulating others. A Machiavellian perspective does not necessarily endorse such behavior, but it acknowledges its prevalence and provides a framework for understanding and anticipating it. It involves a detached observation of social dynamics, recognizing the power plays and hidden agendas that often underlie seemingly innocent interactions. This perspective allows you to see beyond the surface and identify the underlying motivations driving people's actions. It's about accepting the reality that not everyone is acting in good faith, and that some individuals will actively try to deceive you to achieve their own goals. This understanding is not about becoming cynical or distrustful of everyone, but rather about being realistic and discerning in your judgment of others. It's about recognizing the potential for deception and taking steps to protect yourself from it. The Machiavellian approach also emphasizes the importance of understanding human psychology. Deception is often rooted in psychological vulnerabilities, such as the desire for approval, the fear of rejection, or the need to maintain a positive self-image. By understanding these vulnerabilities, you can better anticipate how someone might try to manipulate you. For example, someone who craves approval might be susceptible to flattery, while someone who fears rejection might be easily intimidated. Recognizing these psychological levers allows you to identify potential manipulation tactics and develop strategies to counter them. It also involves understanding how cognitive biases can distort our perception of reality and make us more vulnerable to deception. These biases, such as confirmation bias and the halo effect, can lead us to make inaccurate judgments about people and situations. By being aware of these biases, we can take steps to mitigate their influence and make more objective assessments. This understanding of human psychology is crucial for navigating the complex world of social interactions and protecting yourself from those who would seek to exploit your vulnerabilities. Furthermore, mastering the art of deception detection necessitates a thorough understanding of nonverbal communication. While verbal communication can be easily manipulated, nonverbal cues often provide a more accurate reflection of a person's true feelings and intentions. Body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, and other nonverbal signals can betray inconsistencies and reveal hidden agendas. Learning to read these cues requires careful observation and practice. It involves paying attention to microexpressions, subtle fleeting facial expressions that reveal underlying emotions. It also involves understanding the cultural context of nonverbal communication, as certain gestures and expressions can have different meanings in different cultures. By becoming skilled at reading nonverbal cues, you can gain a significant advantage in detecting deception and understanding the true intentions of others. This ability allows you to see beyond the carefully constructed facade and perceive the underlying reality of the situation. It's about developing a heightened awareness of the subtle signals that people unconsciously emit, providing valuable insights into their true thoughts and feelings. Cultivating a healthy level of skepticism is also a crucial component of the Machiavellian strategy. This doesn't mean becoming paranoid or distrustful of everyone you meet, but rather approaching information and claims with a critical eye. Question assumptions, challenge assertions, and seek out evidence to support claims. Don't simply accept things at face value, but rather dig deeper to uncover the truth. This skepticism should be applied not only to external sources of information, but also to your own beliefs and biases. Be willing to challenge your own assumptions and consider alternative perspectives. This intellectual humility is essential for avoiding cognitive biases and making sound judgments. By cultivating a healthy level of skepticism, you can protect yourself from misinformation and manipulation and make more informed decisions. This critical thinking skill is essential for navigating the complex and often deceptive world we live in. In addition to skepticism, developing strong analytical skills is essential for decoding human deceit. This involves breaking down complex situations into their component parts, identifying patterns, and drawing logical conclusions. It also involves the ability to think critically and evaluate evidence objectively. Analytical skills are crucial for identifying inconsistencies in someone's story, detecting logical fallacies in their arguments, and assessing the credibility of their claims. These skills can be honed through practice and training. Consider taking courses in logic, critical thinking, or debate. Engage in activities that challenge your analytical abilities, such as solving puzzles or playing strategy games. By developing your analytical skills, you can become a more discerning judge of character and a more effective detector of deception. This ability to analyze information objectively and identify inconsistencies is a powerful tool in navigating complex social interactions. Furthermore, emotional intelligence plays a vital role in understanding and navigating the complexities of human deceit. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, as well as the emotions of others. It involves empathy, self-awareness, and social skills. Empathy allows you to understand the perspectives and feelings of others, which is essential for detecting when someone is being deceptive. Self-awareness allows you to recognize your own biases and vulnerabilities, which can make you more susceptible to manipulation. Social skills enable you to build rapport with others and create a trusting environment, which can encourage them to be more honest. By developing your emotional intelligence, you can become more attuned to the subtle emotional cues that betray deception and more effective at building relationships based on trust and honesty. This understanding of emotional dynamics is essential for navigating the complexities of social interaction and protecting yourself from those who would seek to exploit your vulnerabilities. Moreover, understanding the power of framing is a crucial element of the Machiavellian approach. Framing refers to the way in which information is presented, and it can have a significant impact on how people perceive and interpret it. By carefully framing information, someone can influence your opinion, manipulate your emotions, and even persuade you to take actions that are not in your best interest. For example, a salesperson might frame a product as a limited-time offer to create a sense of urgency and pressure you to buy it quickly. Or a politician might frame an issue in a way that appeals to your emotions and aligns with your pre-existing beliefs. By understanding the techniques of framing, you can become more aware of how others are trying to influence you and more resistant to their manipulative tactics. This involves critically analyzing the information you are presented with, considering alternative perspectives, and forming your own independent judgments. The ability to recognize and deconstruct framing is a powerful tool in protecting yourself from deception and manipulation. Finally, a crucial aspect of a Machiavellian strategy for decoding deceit involves understanding the motivations behind it. Why would someone choose to deceive? What are they hoping to gain? The answers to these questions can provide valuable insights into their character and their potential behavior. Deceit can stem from a variety of motivations, including the desire for power, wealth, status, or revenge. It can also be driven by fear, insecurity, or a lack of empathy. By understanding the underlying motivations, you can better anticipate someone's actions and develop strategies to counter their manipulative tactics. For example, if you know that someone is motivated by a desire for power, you can be more wary of their attempts to control or dominate you. Or if you know that someone is driven by fear, you can try to reassure them and build trust. Understanding the motivations behind deceit is essential for navigating the complex world of social interactions and protecting yourself from those who would seek to exploit your vulnerabilities. By developing a keen awareness of human motivations, you can become a more discerning judge of character and a more effective detector of deception. This requires